Good morning, everyone. Well, this is not the story that we wanted to start off this year with, but I wanted to get the information out. It looks like they had a press conference in the early hours of this morning, and then there should be another press conference at noon. I'm cycling through things, so if I see this, so they are replaying the press conference that they had earlier today. So we will go into that because I know just about as much as you guys do. Uh, it is being investigated as a possible FBI terrorist thing, but to say anything more than that, it's so irresponsible. I know literally about as much as you guys do. So let's get into this so you guys can get some of this information in.
The White House with Governor Landry, and of course, a unified command who is present here. What I'm asking at this time are prayers for those who have lost their lives in the city of New Orleans due to this tragedy. In addition to that, I'm asking the public to stay clear of 8 blocks around Bourbon Street. Stay clear from Bourbon Street, 8 blocks around.
I do also want to caution you. I don't know how prevalent this is going to be, but if you have family members that were in New Orleans or in the local kind of area and you're trying to get in contact with them, the systems might be overloaded. Don't get overstressed if you can't, get a hold of people right away just because their systems are probably crashing with everyone just trying to call and make sure that their loved ones are okay as well. So, give it 10, 15 minutes, try again, and then escalate it up from there.
Very active, and again, a unified command is in place right now. I'm going to
I am not
ask
aware of
Chief
that,
Kirkpatrick
but
to give you an update. You're then going to hear from our agent in charge relative to the FBI. So at this time, Chief Kirkpatrick.
Thank you. All right. Good morning, everyone. So I'm going to give you as much of the information I possibly can. We are going to give you an update a couple of times today. So we will give you just the basics this morning. All right. We had
I
this
believe at
event started
3:10.
at about 3:15. It did involve a man driving a pickup truck down Bourbon Street at a very fast pace, and it was very intentional behavior. This man was trying to run over as many people as he possibly could. It was not a DUI situation. This is a more complex and more serious based on the information we have right now. With respect to numbers, we have right now, and as you already know, this could change throughout the day. We do know that there are 26 injured people who are at UMC Hospital. We know we have 4 at Turo, 4 at Oshner Baptist, 1 at Tulane. But even as I was walking out the door, I believe I have an unconfirmed additional people who have been taken to other area hospitals, possibly on the east side. But we will give you as many correct numbers as we can as the day progresses. It is a very tragic situation for me to tell you that we know we have 10 people that this man killed on Bourbon Street. That is why we do not want anyone on Bourbon Street today.
Yeah,
Wherever you
unfortunately,
see yellow tape, please do not violate this tape. This is in
yeah, this is incredibly scary, and I'm afraid that there's going to be more injuries that we are unaware of. This is going to be a larger incident than I think they even have their mind wrapped around at this particular time. For those of you who are just joining, this was an earlier press conference. We are about I can math. About a minute behind in this live coverage, but they are showing, the earlier press conference. This particular incident happened around 3:15 AM. It looks like the only saving grace about this incident is that unlike the Christmas parade, hopefully there will not be any children involved in this. I hope. I hope that no one had their kids out at 3:15 AM. Um, but let's get back to this. From just rough taking down her numbers, we're already up to 35 to approximately 40 people in the hospital with injuries. Now, I did add a couple in there too because she kind of had some unaccounted numbers, but those are what they had at that particular time. I do believe this particular press conference happened around 7 or 8. So let's let her give out some more information.
In order to protect and stabilize the scene. We have information to a certain degree of the
Thank you, AG
demographics
biochemist,
of
35
those who are
injured
in the
and
hospital
killed,
right now.
unfortunately.
We do not know at this point how many could be tourists versus locals, but from the information I have right now, it seems the majority are locals versus tourists. What I also can tell you is that this man, this perpetrator, he fired
This
on
is
our
not the
officers
12 PM conference.
from
They are playing the earlier conference, so I figured I would play that because I wrote down 11 for some reason. Uh, but so I figured we'd watch the first conference and then, excuse me, go into the next conference because they did say in a little under an hour we should be getting another conference. Uh, Pokemon, maybe we'll find out. Like I said, I know about as much as you guys going in, so that's little to nothing other than what I reported to you when I was doing Newsy News this morning. So they are investigating it as a terrorist attack. They are fairly certain that it wasn't a DUI like a Sarah Boone, I drank too much and played tag with an entire street. But other than that, we're not quite sure. And thank you for excusing my burp.
his vehicle when he crashed his vehicle. 2 of our officers have been shot. They are stable, and we will give you an update on them. I have yet been able to go to the hospital. I will be leaving here for us to go visit our officers. We have called in every officer that we have. We have so much appreciated our partnerships who have also offered us staff. Last night, we had over 300 officers out here. And because of the intentional mindset of this perpetrator who went around our barricades in order to conduct this,
I guess
he
that
was
does raise a pretty big question. I and I've never been to New Orleans, so anyone who's been around there or from around there, let me know because this may not be something feasible. But I know for high traffic foot areas, we have kind of concrete balustrades. Would that be something that in any way would be feasible in New Orleans? I I don't know. It does seem like these sort of foot traffic, footpath areas are a new vector of a soft target that does seem to be getting a little bit more, you know, well, it seems to be an easy target that certain people are using for more often and something that unfortunately we need to think. Okay, so it is area open to traffic and it's not a footpath only area. Okay. I don't know again, I am humble enough to know what I'm not smart about, and I'm not smart about, what the feasibility of putting, concrete barriers would be. Would that even be effective? Heck, I don't know, but it does seem to be a question we need to ask. And AG Biochemist says they actually have steel posts that can be raised and are super sturdy, but they were down last night. Doggone it, damn it. I mean, You know what? I don't have this monetized anyway, so
All
I
bent
this
on creating the
festering
carnage
butt
and the
monkey who
damage that
did
he
this.
did. Because of the nature and the indices that we have on the scene, and we have enough information that the FBI will be taking over this investigation. And with that, I am going to be asking, this is the assistant agent in charge. This is Agent Duncan, Special Agent Duncan. And she has taken over this case on behalf of us and the FBI. As always, we will be in partnership with all of our partners. But Agent Duncan, if you want to have a few words for everyone.
Thank you, ma'am. Good morning. My name is Alethea Duncan. I'm the Assistant Special Agent in charge for FBI New Orleans. As Chief Kirkpatrick said, we'll be taking over the investigative lead for this event. This is not a terrorist event. What it is right now is their improvised explosive devices that was found, and we are working on confirming if this is a viable device or not. As Chief Kirkpatrick
Okay, it says Bourbon Street can be driven down during most of the year. It's usually just events like celebrations last night or Mardi Gras where everything is blocked. Okay, I did not know that. Gosh, we have so many CC TVs. Penny Ward, this happened in the early morning hours of this morning, so around 3:15 a.m. in the morning.
Patrick said, we're asking everyone to stay away from Bourbon Street, specifically from Canal Street to St. Anne. That is my ask. Once again, stay away from Bourbon Street, Canal Street, all the way to St.
Welcome, Penny
Anne
Ward.
until we can figure out what is going on. Our goal is to provide you additional
M169. Yeah, sorry, I was making sure the numbers were correct with what I'm reading because I call it number Lexia, but they just jumble for me. So I was making sure I got your name right. I don't know, as far as we are simply watching the earlier press conference. If there is let me move forward. I don't think they are currently on a press conference, but we can go to live. From where we were. It so let's go back to the rest of the press conference and see kind of what they're
As we
saying.
say, just stay away from Bourbon.
Can
Okay?
you elaborate on the device? You did say something about the device.
We actually are not going to be taking questions this morning until we have more information. That's why we will give you an 11 o'clock
Okay.
briefing.
Thank you,
So
Fun
until
Diane.
then,
It looks like the mayor and police say terrorist, but the FBI is saying no. Tim Swope, I am fumbling towards awesomeness halfway sometimes. It does look like there are allegations of that. I am hoping we will have a lot more with this next press conference. It it does seem a little bit interesting that in a heavily trafficked major metropolitan area that we don't have a lot of CCTV on this, especially when you go back to cases like the Boston Marathon. I mean, maybe that's something they are going through right now, but it seems like we should have more concrete answers or no concrete, hell no, it wasn't this. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but half the time I feel like when I'm watching the media, I am getting the story they are telling us because they don't want us to act like crazy people. So they're shading things just to make sure we don't go nutso. But that's a
please
personal
hold your
thought, so you
questions.
don't have to
We
take
will
it.
give you everything that we possibly can. Okay? So 11 o'clock,
Just
we will
like
see
Las
you at the
Vegas?
headquarters, and we will go again from there. Okay?
Chief, were the bullards engaged? Were the bullards engaged?
The device is confirmed?
Again, if you are just joining us here on Live Now from Fox, as we continue to follow this tragic breaking news out of New Orleans, that was a press conference from a few hours ago this morning from officials there, as we are anticipating another press conference to start here in just about 50 minutes or so. So set to start here
That is a good
around 12
question. So
p.m.
that is
Eastern
one
time.
thing
We're going to
that
bring
I
that to
was
you
wondering about.
uninterrupted here on Live Now from
I was wondering about, there being the Sugar Bowl. I couldn't remember. I was like, there's a sports bowl thing there too. Sorry, Mr. Mo is asking me for a pen. Sent young, little human to come get one, and hopefully he'll be okay, having found a pen. One can only hope.
Fox. In the meantime, I did want to pull up this new information that was brought into me from my producer, Carla. This is from the Associated Press. They are saying investigators now searching for potential explosive devices. And again, not a whole lot of information here as of right now, but what we do know, reporting from the Associated Press, investigators were combing the French Quarter. That's where all of this took place this morning for potential explosive devices. That's per the Associated Press, again, saying that a law enforcement official reported that to them. However, that official was not authorized to discuss details of the investigation publicly and spoke to the Associated Press on the condition
Howdy,
of
everyone.
anonymity. And I do want to pull up a live look at the scene here as I do continue to tell you the latest of what we know right now. FBI Assistant Special Agent in charge said that officials were investigating at least one suspected improvised explosive device at the scene. And we are still awaiting, however, the new information, as I just said, this press conference, as we hopefully are going to learn more details about this. And I also did want to pull up another tweet here that we have pulled in from my producer, Carla, as well. This is from Nola Reddy, and it says, because this is an active scene, we are urging residents to stay off of Bourbon from Canal to Dumaine and from Royal to Dauphine. And again, that's information that we got a bit earlier this morning. We've been hearing officials saying, please stay away from the scene. As I give you more live looks right now into our newsroom of this very active scene. This is just one
Hello.
shot that we are getting in here.
Okay, let me pull up. I've got people coming or sending me stuff, so I'm trying to keep up with that, which is only, 12 shades of all that's going on down here. All right, let's keep this going. Sorry,
I'm going
I'm
to show
trying to
you
pull
this
up
other
the
shot
latest articles.
as well, as we do have multiple perspectives, and you can see that this is still very active. We can see that that street is blocked off there from a police cruiser. So again, we are going to bring that to you here shortly on Live Now from Fox.
A new article, so let me stop this screen, share screen, because I believe it talks about the improvised explosives. Let me get this back so I am not covering up the article. All right. So here is the latest article from the New York Post. New Orleans terror attack live updates, viable explosive devices found at the scene. New Year's Day celebrations turned tragic in New Orleans after a driver rammed a truck into the crowd at the city's iconic Bourbon Street, killing at least 10 and injuring at least 35 others. The killer drove a white truck with a black flag on the back through barricades on the corner of Bourbon and Canal Street. JKD Buck, way to lighten the mood. New Orleans Mayor LaToya Cantrell described the assault as a terror attack. The FBI was investigating possible explosives found on the scene. The hell-bent, quote-unquote, killer engaged in a firefight with cops, injuring at least 2 before being shot dead, multiple local outlets reported. So then we've got New Orleans Airbnb fire believed to be connected to a Bourbon Street terror attack. So A fire at a New Orleans Airbnb is believed to be connected to the Bourbon Street attack that left 10 dead, according to reports. Bomb squad detectives were dispatched to a rental on Manville Street or Monville, French Street, morning after firefighters put out flames at the rental, which investigators believe was rented out by the attacker, NOLA.com reported. Dozens of people were reportedly evacuated from the area around the Airbnb, which is about 3 miles from Bourbon Street. Improvised explosives were found in the unaliver's truck after he was unalived in a shootout with police. Let's see here. 3 minutes ago, FBI is investigating whether the suspected ist that opened fire into a crowd of New Year's Eve celebrants on Bourbon Street. So they're basically trying to figure out whether he was a terrorist suspect. Now, here is one involving the Sugar Bowl game. So the FBI is investigating whether the Bourbon Street attack is connected to the Sugar Bowl, a college football showdown that takes place in New Orleans annually on January 1st. Dang it, where? I'm trying to read things and then they go this. Let's see. Okay, investigators are looking into the attack as a special event of target interest, law enforcement sources told the Post. The game is one of the highest profile sporting events that comes through the city. Event organizers decided to go ahead with Wednesday's game as scheduled and are working with local officials to make sure it remains safe. The truck that plowed down, Bourbon Street Wednesday morning, unaliving at least 10, was found with improvised explosives. Now, the latest article to come up is right now. Former Trump National Security Advisor Michael Flynn blasts FBI for initially denying terror link. Former Trump National Security Advisor Michael Flynn blasted the FBI for initially denying the New Orleans attacks linked to terrorism early Wednesday, blaming the agency's quote-unquote woke culture for the denial. Quote, "Of course it was a terrorist attack. The person that attacked was terrorizing people, for Christ's sake," Flynn wrote on X. "I swear to God, shut the FBI down. Their woke culture from top to bottom is unacceptable any longer. Like a dead fish, they're rotten from the head down. They truly believe the American people whom they're supposed to serve are fools. Just stop with this nonsense," he added. The ex-Army Lieutenant General went on to laud President-elect Donald Trump's pick, FBI Director Kash Patel, but said he would consider, shutting down the agency altogether. Well, there you go. Now, the new thing, President Biden says that investigators are using every resource available. So President Biden said he has been briefed on the fatal New Orleans truck ramming attack all morning and has directed his team to make every resource available to investigators. In a statement, "I am grateful for the brave and swift response of local law enforcement in preventing even greater death and injury. I have directed my team to ensure every resource is available as federal, state, and local law enforcement work assiduously to get to the bottom of what happened as quickly as possible and to ensure that there's no remaining threat of any kind." Now, I'm going to be very real, very transparent, very clear with every single one of you. I did not vote for President Biden. But I hoped when he took office, and I'm going to get a slight bit political, but more in the sense of politicians all suck. So I didn't vote for him, but I sure as heck hoped and I prayed as infrequently as I prayed that, he would be a good leader. But this man has been on vacation or in Delaware or wherever the hell he has been this last year, not to mention these last 4 years. But I am so done with not knowing where the fuck my president is when I've got 10 fellow Americans who are just out having a party. I mean, it's not my jam. I'm an indoor cat, but I understand you outdoor cats like to do stuff, like to be out, like to have fun in a place where they should. And we get nothing but, "We're the adults." Well, where the hell have the adults been this entire time? Because I swear to God, since I've been an adult, there have been no adults in Washington, DC. So I'm trying to figure out, you know, at what point the adults are gonna come back, because at this point, we're being run by the crypt keeper. I have to start, and a bunch of other families, not to mention these families that lost their loved ones, have to start off New Year's with just another, I guess, Sadiq Khan, part and parcel of urban life, attack of, a militant truck. I mean, come on. What not talking about it, not addressing things is not going to make them go away. Also, sir, show up and do anything since you've been in office. Just do something.
Determine if were there other people involved? Are there other devices that have been planted?
Recently,
Is there
for the
a
latest
secondary
press conference, should be
attack
coming out here
plan?
fairly soon.
And then they got to go deep into the motivations of the suspect. They're going to have to be doing search warrants on all of his property, whether they're going to do search warrants on his residence, on his
No.
devices, his laptop, his phone, and it's a massive investigation.
Exactly. And you mentioned something at the
Okay.
beginning of when
Fox damn News. What in the live now? What in the halter top? Are we going clubbing? Are we going to the night at the Roxbury in this top? I know I'm dating myself, but night at the Roxbury, hilarious.
when I brought you in here that this was it's a large crowd of people, right? So
Oh, she is
makes
super
sense,
cute.
I
Like,
guess,
she's
if you are
hot.
going to try to do
I
as
just
much damage as possible, that would be your target. Can we talk about if we're seeing this, has we seen this play out multiple times before? And in terms of planning something like this, I mean, like you said, we're seeing explosive devices. In terms of planning this, how was that really
I get
possible,
that.
given
I
the
totally
amount of
get
law
it.
enforcement that typically are around these large crowds during these times?
Yeah, this is a real conundrum because this is a very easy target, and this is a dream come true for a terrorist or an attacker because you have a ton of people concentrated in a very small area. That is the beauty of this for a madman or a terrorist or someone bent on killing.
Okay. I am a little egotistical. I am not pictures of me in my younger days with my badge and medals, in the frame with me currently. I am not that. I would just like to state that I am not picture of myself behind my desk egotistical, and I feel better about myself already. Welcome, welcome. And look, I am not making fun of him. That it is a medal in a shadow box. That means he's achieved something in his time as a police officer. But holy fazoli, come on now.
As many
I'd
people
at
as
least have my
possible,
glamour
and the
shot back there.
utilization of a vehicle is something we have seen terrorists use quite often in the last few years. It's unless they had temporary barricades up, and these temporary barricades they're only for traffic control. They're not for security really. The only way to target hardness from a vehicle attack would be to put cement barricades at different locations, which would limit the access and the ability for a vehicle attack to happen.
I know we talked about questions still remaining here because there are a lot, right? But given your background in law enforcement, going through your head, is there anything that really sticks out to you as a big question mark, or what needs to come next when trying to figure all of this out?
Oh, I've got a ton of questions.
Yeah, me too. Like, when's y'all, are we starting our stopwatches? Are we starting our stopwatches for when the old FBI is going to come out and say, say the things, say the thing, Bart." And he's like, "He was on our list." I mean, are we putting our stopwatches to that one? Because I feel like New Year, same shit, right?
The background of the suspect is going to be is the number one is the number excuse me, that's the number two priority. The number one priority is to search for those explosive devices. They could be anywhere, and they know that, and that's a really, really dangerous situation. So that's going to be priority number one. Priority one is saving lives, safeguarding lives. Now, two is determine if there's anyone else involved, determine what this guy's background was. What was it that was it? What was his ideology? Now, I did read an
And there we
interesting
have it.
tidbit
Of
in one
course
of
he
the
was.
articles that was written, and one of the news reports, and that was that that the suspect had a black flag attached to his vehicle, and I haven't verified that, but that was in one of the news reports that came out, and if that's true, that would indicate, of course, that there might be he's indicating that he's doing this as as an Islamic terrorist. But I don't know that. I don't know for.
Well, thank you, Sherlock. I hope that Watson didn't, drown in the bathtub waiting for those deductions. Giblets. Okay, I will say the 24-hour news cycle means that we have dingleberries like this guy who, yes, used to be a cop, and I am not giving, him shit for that. But, well, this man had a black flag, and I have seen Google Earth pictures where black flags indicate that there could have some correlation. Like he has, red string just everywhere. And again, they do have this is exactly how these things start. If the State Department, if the, three-letter agency wants to get ahead of this, that it could be a POW or MIA flag, we don't know. But we aren't getting any information, and, you know, the lie is around the world before the truth has its pants on. So,
Fact,
make of that what
but
you will.
it's interesting that I
Probably
read that there
butchering
was a
that
black
Winston
flag
Churchill quote.
attached to his or flying from his vehicle.
And I did also want to touch on one other thing here, because a lot of people were in town for the Sugar Bowl, which is this college football game. And we are hearing that now there is going to be increased security. But in terms of what that's going to look like now, can you talk a little bit about what they're going to be implementing in light of all of this?
Yeah, I can imagine there's going to be immense security now, and that's going to be, and to stand up well, first of all, they were going to have good security there anyway. There's no doubt in my mind, because this isn't new to the law enforcement community in New Orleans.
Okay, sir, I am sure that the law enforcement has plans to get these big kind of, soft targets done. But we're getting a little tired. Here, I'll speak as a Midwestern mom who doesn't really know, a soft target from a hard target. But it is now something that factors into my thoughts. It is now something that, is this going to be a place where a big crowd is that's going to be a potential, soft target? These are things that are going on in a lot of citizens' minds now. I mean, before this became like an every other year occurrence, it didn't pop into my mind, but now it does. Now every time my kids are in a parade, it pops in my head. It does. I wish I could tell you it didn't. I wish I could tell you that I'm not gonna let the mainstream media, change my life or fear rule my life. But, it is something I look at. I look at exits. I look at, not having my back to the entrance. These are things that I'm looking at. And if all you can tell me is I'm doing the bestest job I can, and then, every 5 seconds when one of these things happen, it's he was on our list,
Dealing with big crowds.
I'm getting a little
And the
tired
football
of it.
game, of course, is one of them. But this is going to bring it to a whole different level. They're going to be doing probably bag checks of people when they walk in. And they may be doing vehicle checks. It's and to throw up
AG
a really
biochemist,
tight security perimeter this
yeah.
late in the game is going to have its own set of challenges.
All right, Lieutenant Randy Sutton, always appreciate you coming on the show. Anything else you want to add before I let you go here?
I just think that we all owe thoughts and prayers to the families and loved ones of all of those.
Hey, we're still waiting for answers about Vegas. Maybe give us some answers on Vegas.
Been injured as well.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining.
Howdy, howdy.
And thank you to Lieutenant Randy Sutton there as we do continue to follow this breaking news out of New Orleans, Louisiana. We are going to go away for a 2-minute break on Live Now from Fox. Did want to remind you, though, if you are just tuning in for all of this, we are expected to.
Okay, let's see if we've got.
I do have another witness on the phone. Jimmy, are you with us? Can you briefly just describe what you heard, what you saw? Take us through everything that you witnessed on Bourbon Street there.
So Bourbon Street, like he said, probably about 3:10 a.m. We were heading towards Canal, which is the way the truck was coming towards us. We ducked off into a nightclub because we weren't sure what was going on at the other end, and it looked like just nothing we wanted to see. So we just ducked off into a club. By the time we got in, 5 girls had ran in frantically and hid under chairs. So us
Yes,
knowing where we were, we ran upstairs to the balcony to make it less
because I can do that.
available. If something was following inside, and what we witnessed was
thank you for the gifted membership, and that went to John C.
Just as far as you could see, we counted 10, and at least 6 were instantly, clearly deceased, and they were trying to get everybody just to stay inside, but everyone had just completely disappeared. Like after these people ran over, I think we were the only ones outside on the balcony, and we took video just for the sheer shock. Like you don't see stuff like that on city streets, and just no one was helping them. Like that was kind of the first crazy thought we had is why is no one helping them? They wouldn't let us out, and obviously, like I told you, some were very clearly deceased, but others were yelling out, and it's a lot to process.
Yeah, and I can hear that.
Always keep in mind that just the people that have visible injuries are not the only victims of this crime, of this tragedy. The people that witnessed this, that saw the, victims when they were first on the ground, the people that were scared into, fear and not moving, couldn't help the people on the ground, the first, responders who had to take care of and tried to save the lives that they could. The waves of this trauma, the waves of this tragedy are so much wider than the people that are in the hospital or the people that, got physically touched by this particular accident or not accident, incident. So it is just absolutely ridiculous. Let's hear if we can hear more from witnesses. I'm just kind of jumping back and forth because some channels will have breaks and then
shock in your voice. Obviously, this had to be horrific to witness. I mean, I imagine that you were there celebrating, with your friends, your loved ones, ringing in the new year, and then to see and to watch all of this unfold. What was going through your mind, Jimmy?
Shock. Like it looked like something out of a movie. The way these bodies were mangled, and we had just seen this one girl outside dancing when we were walking up, and not to be too graphic, but she was flattened. Like this was a full-size F-150 4x4, and this girl didn't even look human. And then another one had to be a mother. She was dead in front of us right at my feet. just twisted skull. I mean, I could just keep going. Another gentleman, he was for sure deceased. He actually had tire tracks over his stomach and back when they were trying to finally check on him. And another woman had got her legs pinned when he run her over. Half her body was on the street, half her body was on the curb. So she obviously was very broken, but still breathing at that moment.
No, he's
just, I mean,
and you guys, those images don't go away. Those images, these moments, these memories in his head, they're going to have a taste to them, a smell to them. They might even be, uh, color, a different palette because of the trauma. MLS, we are waiting for the latest press conference. I've kind of gotten over what they have let out thus far. Latest news is that there might be an Airbnb that was associated with this particular attacker that was on fire and has been cleared out by bomb squads. That came from 23 minutes ago. Michael Flynn is losing his mind on Twitter, and President Biden says he's going to do all he can for us. So that's what we've got thus far. Now, there have been posts about a black flag, but we don't know what that's about. We have been reassured that the Sugar Bowl will be fine. They are beefing up security. And 39 minutes ago, it looks like Homeland Security will work closely with law enforcement in the investigation from Mayorkas. So there you go. But these memories are going to live beyond what these people
in
have
just
been dealing
about
with.
an hour. Oh, the FBI invest.
Okay. And this is live. We are now live. And let me get that full screen for you. But you were back.
His pickup truck into a crowd, killing 10 people. 35 are injured. Many of them went to 5 local hospitals. I did want to show you again this live look that we're getting into our newsroom here of Bourbon Street, and you can see that it is still blocked off with that police presence. Another live image here into our newsroom, and we're crediting EarthCam for this. Thank you for this live image, a different perspective there. As you can see, we've been showing this image actually throughout the morning, where we've been seeing officers coming and going, walking through the space. Again, this area still closed down for this investigation. The FBI now investigating this as an act of terrorism. And we did hear law enforcement officials this morning asking people to please avoid this area. Well, we've also been bringing you a lot of reaction here on Live Now from Fox throughout the morning as well. Here is a new statement in here from the platform X that was just brought into us. This is from Council Member Oliver Thomas. And he says, quote, "I'm at the emergency room now, praying for the victims and first responders of last night's mass casualty on Bourbon Street. Thank you to the entire team who has brought the officers involved here to stable condition. We know the predator has been killed." And again, still unsure who that man was, why he did this. All information that I do want to remind you we are going to be hopefully getting here in just about 15 minutes or so at the 12 p.m. Eastern time hour here on Live Now from
Okay.
on the ground, supporting local law enforcement in the investigation. And the president.
All right, let's go to live. Oh, they'll be back in a minute. So I'll just, because I'm sure that music's copyrighted, have it on in the little background so I can hear it. You guys, I wish I had the big answers and I could fix all of this and I could tell you a way forward that, would make us all safe, but wouldn't take away any of our liberties and stop things like this from happening. But I don't have all those answers. So hopefully we'll get some more. It's This is not the way I wanted to start my new year. And for the family members and friends that lost someone tonight or has someone, horrifically injured, I am so sorry. And I wish I had more than words. But this sucks all the donkey balls, and I am sorry. Fox News, if you're hiring, it sucks all the donkey balls. The greatest new show from Mo. Now, I'm just saying, Fox, think about it. Late night, funny chick,
And welcome back to
basically
Live
just
Now
makes
from
peen
Fox. If you
jokes.
are just joining us, we are continuing to follow the latest out of New Orleans, Louisiana, as we are anticipating this press conference to start here in just about 8 minutes or so. We do have the feed pulled up. I am monitoring.
Okay. Phoenix fire, it looks like around 3:15 a.m. last night, a person in a Ford F-150 truck drove down Bourbon Street, running over and injuring many people, and then also after he was stopped or came to a stop, got out and opened fire. So there are 10 people dead and 35 wounded, plus 2 officers were also wounded in returning fire to this person.
It as of right now, no
Truth.
one is up there, so we are going to pivot to some other reaction. We are getting into our newsroom, but just be aware, as soon as we see someone step up there, we are going to pivot to that press briefing. Again, as promised, let's head over to.
Okay, am I the only one that when I hear the word pivot, I just see the Friends scene with the couch? Now, with the levity done, let's go back.
Some social media reaction right now, and we're going to start with this off of the social media platform X. Again, we've been telling you all morning here, the FBI is now investigating this as an act of terrorism. And so here is a post from them that I do want to read to you. This morning, an individual drove a car into a crowd of people on Bourbon Street in New Orleans, killing a number of people and injuring dozens of others. And as we do know, many of them taken to local hospitals in the area. The subject then engaged with local law enforcement and is now deceased. The FBI is the lead investigative agency, and we are working with our partners to investigate this as an act of terrorism. So again, that statement in from the FBI. I did also want to pivot because we do have this new information in from the White House.
I'm sorry, Fun
You're
Diane.
seeing a portion of it on your screen right now. I have the full thing pulled up in front of me, and so I am going to read that to you right now. President Biden called New Orleans Mayor LaToya Cantrell this morning to offer full federal support following the horrific news that a driver killed and injured dozens of individuals in New Orleans overnight. He has been briefed on the latest developments by senior FBI and DHS leadership and his Homeland Security team, and he will continue to be briefed on this incident throughout the day. The FBI is investigating this incident as an act of terrorism, and President Biden has directed his team to ensure every resource is available as law enforcement works to get to the bottom of what happened as quickly as possible and to ensure that there is no remaining threat of any kind. All right, so again, that just in from the White House that we did want to read off to. And then we also are getting this statement from President-elect Donald Trump. And we did just pull that up here. This is also from Caroline Leavitt, who is his press secretary. He posted this to his Truth Social account maybe just about an hour or so ago. I am going to read just a portion of it. It says the crime rate in our country is at a level that nobody has ever seen before. Our hearts are with all of the innocent victims and their loved ones, including the brave officers of the New Orleans Police Department.
I guess we weren't going to read the first couple sentences because they might make fun of us and we're the mainstream media. Just thought I'd add that.
the Trump administration will fully support the city of New Orleans as they investigate and recover from this act of pure evil. So again, it's just some reaction we're getting, and I think we may have a couple more that we wanted to pull up. Yep. Okay. All right. So this is from our content partners, and Fox 5 Atlanta. It says the Atlanta Police Department says it is increasing their security after the attack early this morning in New Orleans that resulted in the deaths of at least 10 people and dozens of injuries, including 2 police officers. So we're seeing other areas of the country increasing their security and police presence in light of all of this. All right,
Yeah.
let's head over to New York Governor Kathy Hochul.
Why?
She put out this statement.
Why the hell do we care what Kathy Hochul thinks? I mean, I honestly could not give a rat's behind because what politicians think unless they're gonna get down there in the dirt and start helping too. I am so done with this. This is that's like asking what Beyoncé thinks of this. I don't care. Unless the New York National Guard is going to do something about the subway, maybe worry about your own state, Kathy. Also, you look exactly like a Seketsky, and I am going to launch an investigation into where all the Gelflings went when I'm a president.
And we pray for the families of those we lost and everyone impacted by last night's horrific terror attack in New Orleans. We have no indication that there are any credible threats to New Yorkers. At my direction, the New York State Police are on high alert to keep our communities safe. So again, we're seeing a reaction from lawmakers and also just leaders in other states across the country about how they are reacting to this news out of Louisiana. I did want to pull, oh, we have one more here from Texas Governor Greg Abbott. Thank you, Carla, my producer.
And this is what we call padding. We are waiting, everyone, if you just joined in the last couple minutes, we are waiting for the latest media press conference in the New Orleans attack. It should be any moment now, but the mainstream media is doing what we like to call fluffing, or vamping, where we need to take time and, mill it about because no one's at the podium just yet. Sarah Boone, your pulpit is getting ready. But there you go.
Our prayers go out to the victims of this heinous crime in New Orleans. I've been briefed by the Texas Department of Public Safety on this attack and commanded them to get to the bottom of it immediately with a special focus to ensure no one in Texas faces any safety threat. All right, I just want to make sure with Carla that that's all the reaction. Okay, so that's all the reaction we have in as of right now from lawmakers and leaders across the country. Of course, we're monitoring social media here. And when we do get these new reactions and we bring them to you live, raw, and unfiltered here on Live Now.
And she's still alive.
All right, well, live is what we do best. So I do want to take you out live again to this image that we've been bringing you throughout the morning here. As of right now, investigators are searching for potential explosive devices. That's the latest here from the Associated Press. And again, if you are just joining us on Live Now from Fox, we're expected to get updates throughout the day here from law enforcement officials. And again, this latest briefing hopefully set to start. Injured, many of them taken to local.
Well, while we're waiting for that, it looks like there has been another article, this time by David Spector. New Orleans attacker was in full military gear and not from the area, according to a report. The driver who plowed his pickup truck into the crowd of New Year's Eve celebrants on Bourbon Street was dressed in full military gear, New Orleans City Council President Helena Moreno told a local outlet WWL-TV. Moreno added that the attacker was not from the area, but did not provide any further information on the suspect's identity.
Local hospitals, the FBI investigating this now as an act of terror. And police said the suspect died after he jumped out of his pickup truck and traded gunfire with responding officers. 2 police officers were injured and in stable condition. As I am reading this information to you, I did want to pull up this other live image that we are getting in here because I believe this is going to be the area where this press briefing is going to be held. So we are now getting in this feed. Again, it doesn't appear as though anyone is set up there right now. So we may be waiting a little bit to get some more information. But again, either way, we'll bring this to you as soon as this does start. Lots of reaction again coming in. We did hear from President-elect Donald Trump. He called this an act of pure evil. I am going to change the image here because it does look like someone has stepped into the screen. All right. No, I step back out. So let's leave it there for a second. But again, we did hear from President-elect Donald Trump. And we also heard from President Biden saying his heart going out to the victims of the Bourbon Street attack as well. He did say, and I do want to read that quote a little bit to you again, the FBI is taking the lead in this investigation and is investigating the incident as
Oh,
an act
I'd
of
be doing
terrorism.
deuces. There's no
Biden
way
says he's
I am
grateful for the
mature
brave
enough
and
to be
swift
on
response of
screen.
local law enforcement in preventing an even greater death and injury. All right, so we're getting that standby slate, which means hopefully something will be happening here soon in terms of a press conference. In the meantime, I did want to take you back out to this live image. What we're going to do here on
All
Live Now from
right, let's
Fox is we
see.
are going to step away for a 2-minute break. But if you are just joining us, I did have
Well,
a
I'm
programming
trying to
note for
get
you.
the
Some of you may be here for the
latest
Rose Parade because we
information.
were advertising that we would be streaming that here for you. Due to all of this, we are going to pivot. But if you would like to watch it, and that is why you're here.
Oh, it's
I did
only
want to pull
11
up
a.m.?
this QR code on the top corner of your
Well, that
screen. You can
explains.
scan that on your smartphone if you open up your camera app. You can point it at the QR code and touch your screen. It should bring you to our YouTube channel. And that is where you will be able to watch
Okie
the Rose Parade in full if that is why you're here. However, if you would like to keep watching the coverage here of New Orleans, Louisiana, you can stay on this mainstream how you're watching. But again, that is for those who want to watch the Rose Parade out of Pasadena, California. All right, let's go away for a 2-minute break here on Live Now from Fox. Hopefully that
Okay.
press briefing will be on the other side.
All righty, let's see. They're live. All right, well, I guess they will be back in a minute and we should be getting ready to do this. Yeah, I don't know that we're going to get a lot of answers today, you guys. I'll be on this for at least, until we get to the next press conference. And I'll try to keep up with this story as more comes out, but I'm not sure how much is going to come out today. And hopefully we'll at least get an identity, maybe anything that can give us sort of an idea of what was the motivation. Welcome, Robert James. So we've watched the prior, press conference, and we are getting a lot of pure speculation almost right now, and kind of waiting for actual concrete numbers and maybe the status of some of the victims to come back. I think that if the Darrell Brooks case taught me anything, was that, the injuries were so much more grievous than I ever thought they were. And to hear some of these.
Welcome back here on Live Now from Fox. If you are just joining us, my name is Christy Matino.
1 second. And to see. Oh, my pause game is bad. Look, I apologize, ma'am. I'm sure both of your eyes blink the same rate normally. Sorry. Anywho, to listen to the victim impact statements on the Darrell Brook, trial, and to the resilience of these survivors that suffered these insane injuries, the resilience and complete ability to adapt and overcome of the human spirit is beyond measure. But I wish I didn't have to have this sort of story. I wish we didn't have to get together the first day of this year to talk about this stuff.
I'll be here for the next 2 hours or so as we continue to bring you the latest out of this tragedy. out of New Orleans, Louisiana. Again, I did want to pull up this live image as we are awaiting this press conference to start, and we do see the media starting to set up there.
Could we just
This
get
was
the
slated
media
to
man,
start just about 10
let him
minutes or
have his
so ago.
snack?
But as you can see, we're still having people doing mic checks, and we have not seen any officials step up yet. So what we're going to do is we are going to pivot, and I am going to show you this other live image that we've been bringing you throughout the show here of that scene on Bourbon Street. We actually do have some new reaction into our newsroom. We've been bringing you statements from law enforcement.
Sure. Yeah. And thanks for having me. And my heart goes out to the victims who are in New Orleans as we speak. So the FBI.
That hair. Okay, I can't do that hair. Sorry about that. That was.
I also know that these two injuries, a little bit more details that I've gotten from my police sources, is that the two injured officers were shot, one in the leg and one in the buttocks, and those are minor injuries, relatively speaking, and that they are expected to make a full recovery.
I'm so glad that they are.
Yeah, most definitely. Just real quick, and I'm not sure that you have the answer to this, but we just had Winston there at Mandeville and Murray.
All right, maybe she's done pivoting.
Just pedestrian traffic. What are your thoughts on that?
I think everything is on the table right now. Shame on us as a city and as leaders if we don't address this issue and figure out how to make the city safer. And I don't want to see we have any concrete plans of action right now, but definitely look at ways to make Bourbon Street safer for the pedestrians.
Okay. Anything else y'all want to add?
Yeah, I'll just add again that everything will be assessed and analyzed, and whatever we can do at the state level to support our local leadership, who I know is doing everything within their power to find out how we can make it more safe, we're going to do that.
State police are doing an investigation.
All right, so that was some reaction in there. I do have an update in regards to this press conference we were expecting. It is now, Fox News is reporting that we are now going to get that at 2 p.m. Eastern time. Again, we were expecting this to start around noon or 12:30 here on the East Coast. But again, Fox News now reporting that we are going to get that press briefing at about 2 p.m. Eastern time here on Live Now.
Okay, guys. So what I may do
when that does happen
is
we will take it here live, raw, and unfiltered.
She's going to take it here live, raw, and unfiltered. All the phrasing. So guys, what I am going to do is set up a live stream for 2 p.m. So I will go ahead and set that up. I will let me get that started setting up, and then I will just redirect to that so you guys can set notifications up for that. What am I doing here? I love when I'm talking and I don't even know what I'm doing. But I will set that up because I don't want to watch another 27 people bloviate about what it could be. Sorry, I was having a hard time remembering how you spell conference, and I was like, damn, I know this is not a trick question, but it is to me. It is to me, which is sad. Not gonna lie. All right, for 2 p.m. today, I have created that live stream, and then it'll push you over to there, and you can just put a notification on, in theory. And then we will be ready for when they go and tell us at 2 p.m. that it will know. It will be at 4 p.m. Don't you guys realize, you sillies, you dum-dums? This is going to be at 2 p.m. now, or 4 p.m. or 11 p.m. But there you go. I have done that, so you guys should be able to go over there, push the notification bell, and then, get that kind of info on. And because of the kind of nature of this, I will pop on earlier if I see that they're going to go live earlier. But for now, the plan is to meet you back here, synchronized watches at 2 p.m. Please like, share, and subscribe if you know someone that might want to get their news from a snarky redhead instead of the mainstream media. Go ahead and share it to your friends. All the YouTube things. I am trying to get better at YouTube things. I have so many things to do this new year, and I'm not even hydrated yet, which I was supposed to be doing today. Well, only 364 more days to try to get it right. Bye, you guys.